everybody, it's Rachel, and I just wanted to give a quick disclaimer for this episode of the podcast. We do talk about some more mature content, nothing too scandalous, I think, but we talk a little bit about marijuana that is a plot point in one of the movies, a few other things. So if that's not your jam, then maybe this is one that you want to skip. But I'll try to put the timestamps in this episode so that you can listen to the reviews that interest you. So thanks everybody and enjoy the show. Hi everybody, welcome to the Hallmarkies podcast. We are so excited today. We are here for our first episode of Off Network for this season, for this Christmas season. And that is the episode that we talk about Lifetime and Netflix and all the other networks and their content this holiday season. So much fun. And I'm going to have a variety of guests with me every single week. And we're going to talk about the great programming that's not on Hallmark Channel that is holiday focused. And today with me, Patrick Beatty is here. Thank you so much, Patrick, for joining me.
Thank you for having me. I am a little out of my element, but I'm so ready to talk about these. There's good in this, yes. But there are some travesty that I'm excited to go into.
Yeah, the Christmas season giveth and taketh.
Yes.
But since this is your first time coming on the podcast, why don't you introduce yourself to our audience?
Yeah, well, hi everybody. I'm Patrick. I do movie reviews, and me and Rachel see each other all the time when we're going to these theater screenings, and we've been friends for quite a while. I think she's withheld bringing me in because I'm kind of like a loose cannon. No, I'm just kidding. Because I'm ugly, to be honest, and we don't want to do video stuff on this with mine. We cover the ball as soon as we can for me. But I do movie reviews on my own website, do a podcast with a bevy of other guests, including Rachel. And you can catch me every other Friday on ABC4 Good Things Utah. So happy to be here.
Yeah. So do you have any sort of holiday movie watching traditions, things that you got to watch every year?
Yes. So there's always a list, but it's the basic list, right? You got to go with the Santa Claus. How far you go into that is how big of a nerd you are, I think. Like if you're going into the escape clause and you're not leaving from there, or like you're reading fan fiction for whatever the fourth one would have been, like that's cool to me. I'm into that because I think those movies are fun. The Grinch is mine and my wife Natalie's top movie that we've got to watch every time. And there's also like the little ones that might be considered Hallmark. I feel Jingle All the Way could be a very good Hallmark film as far as a Christmas movie.
Yeah, they get a little intense with the fighting and stuff like that.
It's a little mean. True. That's true.
They would have to have like cups of cocoa and sit down in that movie for it to be a Hallmark.
Yeah, but mainly with like the seasons, I try to see the ones that I've not seen too, along with the staples. So that's why I've been so excited to come onto this show, because there's new Christmas movies to check out, and there's a few that end up being pretty good.
Yeah. So if any of you listening have suggestions for Patrick of good TV movies or other movies that he might not have heard of for the holidays, then let us know and put it #Patrick Christmas.
Yeah.
And we will pass those on to him. It'll be great.
#Patrick the Elf. You guys don't know my height, but that's exactly where it's at. That's okay. Accurate.
So we're doing this off network episode a little bit differently this year because Lifetime decided that they were going to do a movie every single day from November 25th to December 25th, a new movie, which is just impossible. Like we can't cover that many especially when you include Netflix and all the other off networks that we want to cover.
That's so much fake snow to have. Think of how much is being used.
So what we decided to do instead is we're just going to have an episode off network every Thursday, and we're just going to talk about whatever it is that we've watched for that week. So if we've caught maybe 2 Lifetime and 2 Netflix, or just maybe 1 or 2, or maybe something in the theaters, whatever it might be, then that's what we'll talk about, and it should be really fun. So if you've seen off network films that we're not covering, please let us know in the comment section, especially if it's something that you really liked and that you think we should check out. And that would be really fun. And you should check out our previews that we've done. We did previews of Lifetime. We did this week, our Lifetime preview aired. We also had our All the Rest preview with Jennifer Chandler and Ryan Cam, and that was really fun. So make sure you check out that as well to get an idea of kind of what's out there. But it's going to be fun. And let's dive in first to Netflix. And what were you able what were you able to watch on Netflix?
Well, I think we both have one with this, and yes. I think Love Hard is probably my top one if we're going to start with tops.
Yeah. So Love Hard, it came out on the 5th. It stars Nina Dobrev, Darren Barnett, Jimmy O Yang, and James Saito. And it's a young woman in Los Angeles falls in love with a man on a dating app and travels to his East Coast hometown to surprise him for Christmas, but discovers that she has been catfished. Her crush actually does live in the same town, and the man who duped her offers to set them up if she pretends to be his girlfriend for the holiday. So what was your overall feelings about this movie?
Oh, that sounds like a 90-day sketch. Like that sounds exactly like and that's what made me love this at the beginning. Like the premise to me, I was like, I'm already in because I spend like 2+ hours a week watching these 90-day stories play out. And there's one specifically where this lady was going to India and was catfished by the dude. Like he pretended he was a completely different person. She moved over there and it's been 10 years and she's still there and they're still not married. But that's a whole other side story. But this story, I think they do such a good job, with bringing Jimmy O Yang and making him the lead because he is criminally underrated and he's hilarious in Silicon Valley if you haven't checked him out. But they do kind of a little bit of a take on Say Anything and what we were watching last year on Hulu with Kristen Stewart. Do you remember that film?
Oh yeah. Happiest
kind of like a home for the happiest season, where there's like a look who's coming to dinner, home for the holidays thing, but with the twist of they both have to keep something under wraps. Like there's a mistake, there's a secret that they have, and that they're trying to help each other out to get through it, but through the process start to notice that they have chemistry. Like sure, the premise is silly, and I like, but real life is silly. It's exactly taken from real life in my mind. But what did you think?
You know, I really struggled with this premise. I felt like it hurt the chemistry to have that start on this huge
such a weird note.
Yeah, and
it's like to catch the predator, but we're gonna make it resolve. It's like, whoa.
It was better than I expected it to be. I will admit that. I think I gave it a coal in the preview, so that I was not looking forward to it because it just sounded kind of creepy.
Wait, you're giving out coals?
Yeah, for our preview, we have we our lowest anticipation is the coal.
That is awesome.
And then it's a coal, a sock, an orange, or diamond ring.
You know, if Dobby was having a Christmas, he would value that sock.
That's true.
And he'd be like, "Thank you."
But it was better than I expected. I did like pretty much the whole cast, but I just couldn't get over that he had done this to her and we were supposed to buy them as kind of romantic interests. It just, I don't know. I had a hard time swallowing that premise. And so
it's a tough sell.
Yeah, it really is.
Especially when because the acting by the Jimmy O Yang's family is also really good. Like I think his brother, the actor, was also in High School Musical. He was in something with Disney. He had to have been in my mind.
Yeah, I've seen him. He was in that I think he was in that movie with All My Life with Jessica Roth. Did you see that?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was in that. He is extremely handsome.
Almost too handsome. Like it feels like he's made of plastic. Because it's been years since High School Musical, and I'm like, you just got better. That's not how aging works. I guess in Hollywood that is how it works, but
well, and I loved Rebecca Staub as his mom. I love her. I got to interview her in 2019, and it's one of my favorite interviews I've ever done. She was so funny, so great, and so I just have an affinity for her, and I thought she was funny. And James Saito is a legend. He's great as the grandpa.
And Nina Dobrev, like, maybe she wasn't like what I would consider like right out the gate, that's your choice. But when she gets put into these roles, she does well with the character. And she almost kind of felt like Mr. Deeds. Remember the reporter in that? Winona Ryder's character.
Uh-huh,
Felt some
yeah.
influence from that, and I liked it.
I can see that. Yeah, that's a good comparison. Yeah, she was warm. She was funny. I just had a hard time seeing the two of them together.
I don't see them together. Yeah, that was preposterous. Like at the end, I was like, that's not what my 90-day couple in real life actually looked like. So one of you went down.
And there is no way that if somebody did that to me that I would go along with this plan, or
And
I would
she
be so
apologized
weirded
to
out.
him. She basically apologized to the catfisher.
Yeah, she does.
It's a very weird dynamic that, like, when you're in the story, you're totally you're selling it and you're shipping it because it's like, yes, this is like the love romance and they've built it up for you. But in hindsight, you start processing what happened. You're like, oh wait.
Yeah, I mean, in the world of Netflix rom-coms, this is not that bad. But
I agree. No, I totally agree.
Like they
it's
have
number
some
one right now on
stinkers.
Netflix.
I mean, I didn't even watch the second and third Kissing Booth, but
the
first one was so bad. I hated it so much
dodged.
That the bullet dodged. And I didn't watch the He's All That either. So.
Did you watch this There's No Place Like Home Alone, or whatever the
I did,
crap they called it? Are you gonna you should talk
Did
about
you watch
that.
it?
No, but
okay.
But I've
no,
heard
we're gonna talk about
bad.
that next week since it comes out tomorrow on Friday.
You heard what my variant in the screeners, Patrick Gibbs, said about it, right?
I think I missed it. What did he say?
I'll tell you off camera. It was bad.
Yeah, I mean, I'll talk more about it next week. It's an interesting film. I have lots of thoughts about it. But what would you give to Love Hard 1 to 5?
Can I do the Cole? I like that. But
that's a preview.
I don't want to do 5s. I want to do a Christmas thing.
1 to 5
Christmas candies in your stocking. This is a candy cane full of Reese's. Where it's like, Reese's isn't my favorite candy. And I guess that's something that I need to preface too. Okay. It's like, Reese's isn't my favorite candy, but it's definitely some where I can bite the chocolate around the peanut butter and throw away the peanut butter. That's kind of what this movie's right. At the end of the day, you got candy.
You're a madman. I can't believe you.
I'm out of the show. It's already out.
I would maybe, like, I don't know, give it like half full sock with like some spicy candies that I don't really like.
Oh, like a fireball, the atomic fireballs.
Yep. Oh. We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies merch store.
Are you looking for that perfect gift for the postable, hardy, or Hallmarky in your life?
What about getting that t-shirt or hoodie that will help you stand out at your next holiday party?
Now is the time to check out the Hallmarkies merch store.
Full of festive designs by artists like Jessica Miller, Carrie from Hallmark Comics, and more.
You can even have more than just shirts, but totes, cell phone cases, notebooks, mugs, and more.
And it isn't just Hallmark. We have designs for Anna Green Gables, Man from Snowy River, The Nanny, and more.
Every purchase at the merch store goes to help support the podcast and allows us to make the great content you know and love.
There are frequent sales, so go to tpublic.com/stores/Hallmarkies or see the link in the description.
That's tpublic.com/stores/Hallmarkies.
Then we also had on Netflix this last weekend, we had Father Christmas is Back.
Yes, I watched a little bit of that.
And it's Elizabeth Hurley, John Cleese, Kelsey Grammer, huge cast. And it's in this British comedy. 4 feuding sisters have to learn how to come together as a family when their long lost father surprises them at their ancestral Yorkshire mansion. And for me, I have to say out front, like, family shenanigans is not my brand of Christmas movie. I like The Family Stone, not for me. Movies like that, I usually don't like. Happiest Season was not my favorite. Just movies like that, they're stressful for me. They cause me anxiety, and they're usually not funny. I do think that the National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation and and A Christmas Story are genuinely funny, and that's kind of that brand. Mm-hmm. But they have to be really funny, otherwise I just feel kind of uncomfortable and it's not pleasant for me. So this one is a hard sell.
I agree.
Despite the talented cast. And I think that Kelsey Grammer really tries here. He is really working hard to make this work. And it just wasn't funny enough for me is the problem. It's not awful. Again, when you're comparing it to The Kissing Booth and He's All That and these terrible Netflix rom-coms, it's not that bad, but I can't really recommend it.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's interesting because it's like, what is the scale of emotional manipulation you'll tolerate for a Christmas movie? Because it's gonna manipulate you either way. It's Christmas, it's a season of forgiving, it's a season of happiness. They're gonna have to do something. But when it's disingenuine, you kind of can feel it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like with Love Hard, everybody in that was really into the story and into the message, and you could tell that they had good intention with it. This kind of feels like a cash grab for most of these people, like, and that's where I kind of fell off a little bit, because what is John Cleese doing in this movie? It was the most like of all of the people, John Cleese being in it was like, and boring. He's kind of boring in it too. It's like, he was like one of the funniest people and he's not doing much.
Yeah, like the most that you have is like him being this kind of love interest for the mother character, and which was just kind of weird and awkward.
Yeah. And who, I don't know what Elizabeth Hurley's character was in this, but she certainly wasn't like, I love Elizabeth Hurley ever since I like back in the day watching all of her films from why am I only thinking of Bedazzled? That's going to sound horrible. When I was a kid, I watched Bedazzled, and I'm just talking about that. But you get what I'm saying.
Yeah. No, I mean, she can be very talented, and I love April Bowby. She plays Kelsey Grammer's girlfriend, and she was probably the funniest. She had most of the good jokes, in my opinion. But I love her because she was on Drop Dead Diva, which is one of my all-time faves. I absolutely love that show, and so she was pretty fun. It's like I said, not a total loss. And if you are the type of person that loves shenanigan Christmas movies, like The Family Stone, like if that's your jam, you will probably really enjoy this.
But I will say, maybe Daddy's Home 2 will be better for you. Because they feel like they care more about it than this one, at least. But their drama is pretty intense.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't know. Mel Gibson in that movie. He's pretty bad in that, but yeah, I see where you're coming from, and yeah, if that's your thing, then maybe you do like it, but it just makes me anxious. So I'm gonna give this one 2.75 stars.
Yeah, I'll definitely go half open bag of sour Skittles that somebody ate before you even got to it.
Yeah, like a cinnamon bear that's got its head cut off.
Or like, when you get those assorted chocolates and they're all toothpaste.
Oh yeah. The Harry Potter jelly beans. That's my go-to white elephant gift.
Really? That's awesome.
You might get like the puke ones or grass or disgusting earwax. So, okay. Then we had 2 movies on Peacock that aired this last weekend. We have Much Ado About Christmas, and this was directed by friends of the podcast, Michael and Janine Damien, directed and written. And this one is Haley is beloved in her community of Winterstone for acts of kindness, ranging from managing the Hope Chest charity to directing the children's choir. Haley is also the daughter of one of Winterstone's wealthiest residents, Leona Lloyd. Despite Haley's down-to-earth demeanor, she is financially set as Leona's only heir. Information she fails to share with new love interest Claude, an artsy, hopeless romantic. Haley introduces herself to Claude as Haley Logan, raised by a single struggling mom, a small fib that comes back to haunt her when Claude and his team of present an ad pitch to the Leona that includes a photo of Haley. Secrets are revealed and relationships ruffled. But Christmas is coming and miracles do happen. So you didn't get to see this, correct?
Nope, I didn't see this.
So this movie is like super Christmassy. I mean, I know all these movies are very Christmassy, but this one, just every shot is just full of garlands and decor and Christmas trees and everything is very Christmassy. And the interesting thing, so this stars Susie Abromite and Torrance Coombs, and I like both those actors. but I actually thought that they had better chemistry with sort of their various BFFs. I liked Torrance Coombs with his buddy that he's running the business with, and then Susie with her BFF. And they have, there's really nothing in this movie about much to do about nothing. I don't know why they even named it that, but the two BFFs end up kind of, they've had a relationship in the past, and then they kind of hook up again. That was fun. They were funny. And overall, it was harmless. If you like this kind of, if this is your thing, then you'll enjoy it. And I didn't think they had like the best chemistry ever, like I said, but I thought there was enough there that I enjoyed it. So I would give this one a 3.5 out of 5.
So where would you rank it? Because you're friends with the directors have been on the show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they did a watch along with us.
Oh, really?
For our patrons. Yeah,
oh, that's
that we do every month. Every month we do a patron watch along where we have talent come and we watch one of their movies and we get to hear all the behind the scenes details. And they came, Michael and Janine came on, and they brought Lacey Chabert with them, which was unbelievable.
That's cool. So what would you say as far as like the films that they've done? Do you think this is like one of their, like one for you, one for me, or if it...
Yeah, last year they had one called the Christmas Waltz, which is the one we watched at the watch along, and it was unbelievable. I absolutely loved it. Yeah, it was really good. Starred Will Kemp, who is a trained ballet dancer, and so he's playing this dance teacher, and he teaches Lacey Chabert how to dance, and it was really good. I loved it. So that I don't know the rest of their movies off the top of my head, but that one was really good. And this is not as good. The chemistry is not as good. The story isn't as good, but it's still, I think, a pretty fun little movie.
Yeah.
On the 6th with the Great Christmas Switch, this stars Sarah Lind. She's playing identical twins. And one is a mom that might be going through a divorce. They're separated, struggling. And then you have the single girl who is just really stressed out with work, and they decide to switch places, and it was really fun. It was cute. I like Sarah Lind a lot. She's charming, and they did one like this on Hallmark not too long ago with Candace Cameron Bure. But the thing about that movie is that everyone knew that she had switched. So it wasn't funny. You didn't have any kind of fish out of water because everyone knew. And in this one, nobody knew. And so it was way better, and it was funny. And so I enjoyed this one quite a bit. I'm going to give this a 4 crowns. 4 stars.
Very cool.
Yeah. So, all right. Let's talk about the one I actually haven't watched yet. You watched.
Oh, let me take this one, please, Rachel. I need to take it.
All right, do it. Go.
High Holiday.
High Holiday.
In order to lighten up their uptight family, the free-spirited daughter of a conservative politician brings weed-infused salad dressing to their Christmas Eve dinner. Chaos ensues when everybody gets unknowingly high, revealing the family's innermost secrets. This is directed by Brian Herslinger, stars Tom Arnold. That's how hilarious would that be if they made that casting announcement by accident?
And we are actually also are very good friends with Brian Herslinger. This was a departure for him. He usually does the more clean cut, and then this was something different. But you weren't a fan, huh? Because it has a great cast.
Well, let's talk about that. So we got Tom Arnold as the first person. We got Jennifer Tilly.
She's great. I love Jennifer
Leachman,
Tilly.
who is incredible. And I remember seeing her when I was young in Malcolm in the Middle as the grandmother, and she was incredible in that. And so, yes, you do have you have Emmanuel Halbert. You even have, I believe it's not Jennifer Tilly that was in. No, it wasn't Jennifer Tilly. There's an actress in this that was in A Knight's Tale. I'm trying to pull up who exactly that was in it, though. I think it's Diane Franklin. Yeah, so she was also in A Knight's Tale, and even Bill and Ted. That's crazy. I think that this is a woefully misguided film. A number of parts. One, I don't think anybody in this movie has ever smoked a joint, because I don't think anybody knows what weed is. Either that or it's overacted to the point where it's not for anybody, where like the people that have seen what like stuff like Pineapple Express and things, because we know Seth Rogen now. We know that stoners aren't necessarily just like couch locked and can't do anything and forget everything when they're about to say it. Like Seth Rogen's got his own production company. He has his own weed company. These guys are playing it as if it's high school, and it works in a weird way. Tom Arnold's character plays a Republican politician, and the big inciting incident that brings the weed salad dressing is that they're having a dinner with some guests and he wants to put up a front, but he's like a Trump politician. So like he's throwing out as many like tasteless jokes, crude comments as he can. And the big twist, and I'm sorry to spoil, but the big twist in this is that he really was a good, cool guy back in the day, and he liked to smoke back in the day, but he just puts up the front. And so we're supposed to forgive like the horrible like racism and stuff that he's throwing out at the beginning of the movie. I don't know what part is Christmas. I don't even know where Christmas is in this movie. Yeah. It doesn't exist.
I am not one who obviously has any experience with pot, but do you
think
that, do you think that
you just got into the Hollywood Critics Association? That's California weed.
Do you think that weed infused salad dressing would really, is that enough to, it seems like you'd have to have more than that.
You're outing me in this. I think you could infuse kind of anything with weed. Like they've made flaming hot Cheetos at this point that's infused with cannabis. Yeah. So there's a lot of options, and potency wise, it really depends on how much you're putting in when you're. Let's move on. I think that I don't think anybody really, if they have experienced it before, they were told to ham it up, and I think that might have been a horrible thing to do, because their whole point at the end is to tell people how good weed is and how beneficial it is and how there's never been a violent incident with weed, which that's not true. What gangs with weed haven't, there's all kinds of violent related issues to drugs and stuff. I've never seen a violent person on weed. I've never seen this, but they spent the whole movie just making fun of it. So it's like, I don't believe you anymore. You've lied to me.
Well, and if it just doesn't land, that's the thing with comedies. Like the plot can be terrible in a comedy, but if I'm laughing, then I don't really care.
It could be the editing.
I was telling people about with Venom 2, that people are like, well, what about this? And what about this plot hole? And this one is like, I don't really care if I'm laughing.
Exactly.
And I was laughing.
For consistency and continuity, you come to the wrong movie.
So the poster says, "'Tis the season to put fun in dysfunction." But that was not the case, huh?
I saw nothing fun in this. I just saw a lot of people. It's like when your parents have to do charades and they have to pretend to be high.
This movie, watch The Great Christmas Switch instead.
The director's great, though. I love the director. Come back on the show. I'm sorry.
No, we're good, I ruin Brian.
I'm sorry, Brian. It's not your fault.
Yeah. So what would you give it out of 5?
Oh my goodness. I would give this, if we were going to equivalize it, this is a bag of oregano that somebody sold to you and said that it was weed. And it was like, well, okay. And that oregano is old and barely has its seasoning still. And
this is like an R-rated film, correct? It's like mature.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of swearing in it, which also surprised me, because if you swear, you've got to make it count, in my opinion.
Right.
Like they got to be the good ones. And this they just threw the F word out in like the most random places. Like, I'm gonna go clean my room, and whoa,
not Hallmark approved.
Not Hallmark approved, and not Patrick approved. But then not to say that you guys wouldn't like it. Let's see what you think.
Yeah. All right. So then over on Up TV, and we'll have more coverage of Up. Coming up, we'll have more coverage of Up from the Upside episodes of the podcast, but I want to talk about Christmas with the Prince, the Royal Baby. This stars Caitlin Lieb, Nick Hounslow, Josh Dean, and Charles Shaughnessy from The Nanny, and everybody knows how much I love The Nanny. Have the whole Fran cast if you want to check that out. It's really fun, where we talk about The Nanny. So I love Charles. This is actually the third movie in the Christmas with the Prince series. It's a trilogy now.
Okay, nice. That's good. If you can get a trilogy out of this, that's more power to you.
And so in this movie, she ends up going over to the States from Sansarvia or whatever's the name of their fake country. And she's pregnant, and she ends up going into labor. And they have some law there that if the heir isn't born on Sansarvian soil, then he will not be the valid heir. And so they have to go through
US
all these
immigration, huh?
shenanigans to make the hospital room Sansarvian soil
Oh,
for the
okay.
birth of the child. And it ends up being surprise, it's twins. And
Oh,
the thing about this movie is that like she has the twins with like an hour left, like a long time.
oh.
And
So they
and
end
so-
the movie and they're like, oh, they're still going.
it's still going, exactly. And there's this whole drama because this girl and a boy twin, and the girl twin is the firstborn, and then the boy, and the king, Charles Shaughnessy, he says, well, of course the boy is going to be the new heir. And they're all like, wait a minute. He was second, so why can't Gracie? They named the kids Gracie and Albert, which I thought was kind of, I mean, that's a very royal name, I guess. But anyway, and they're like, why can't Princess Gracie be the heir apparent? Why does go to the boy? So then there's a bunch of back and forth. And so that's like the second half of the movie. And I really think that they should have just ended with the hospital room is Sansarvian and the babies come and everybody's happy and it's great.
Yeah. Well, what if somebody was just like, how do you know that boy is a boy? He didn't choose.
Yeah, that's fair. But you also have her brother who's been in all of these, and he's really funny. I love him. And he is trying to get up the courage to propose to I forget her name, the assistant to the prince. And but every time he's about to, then something happens and he can't get it out until finally the end. So that was really fun.
Mhm.
And he was funny. I really enjoyed him. And so this was definitely the weakest of the three, I would say, of these three movies.
Mhm.
But it's still like fun enough, I guess. But I just feel like it should have ended after she had the baby and not gone on longer. So I'm gonna give this three stars of Christmas with a Prince, the royal baby.
Now,
All
is that
right.
going to be do you think they're going to add like a Toy Story 4 to this? Or it's like,
Put
we're
it
going to do a
past
Buzz
him.
Lightyear solo?
I want to put it past him. I mean, why not?
Oh, man. Well,
What they should do is do a spinoff with the brother and the assistant.
Oh, there you
Yeah,
go.
I would watch that all day.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Are there a lot of like royal Christmas stuff on Hallmark? So many. Okay, that seems like a genre that would be plentiful.
Yeah. Of course, there's what is it? The Christmas Prince that's on Netflix.
That's on Netflix.
There's three of those.
That's what I was confused with at first when you started. And I was like, oh, nope, twins. It wasn't this one.
Yeah, different one. And there's a whole bunch on Hallmark Channel. There's one pretty much every season we get a princess story of some kind. There's some of the most popular ones. Crowned for Christmas with Danica McKellar. That one's pretty popular, and that one's a good one. Then the what is it? The I can't remember. There's one with Lacey Chabert. I can't think of the name.
Okay.
It's Christmas Prince something, and they all have some kind of. Almost all of them are some kind of novia, San Novia.
Okay. Nice. Oh man.
These countries.
You know, it is a weird mix between Christmas and another genre. Medieval Arthurian tales.
Yes.
That's my segue. Hit the Green Knight.
So a lot of people might not realize that the Green Knight that came out this summer, directed by David Lowery, is actually a Christmas movie.
Funny enough.
Yeah, who would have thought?
Not me, and I've seen the movie.
It's all set on Christmas, and that's when he gets the challenge by the Green Knight to a duel, I guess,
Kill him.
basically. And then he has a whole year, and he has to appear again on Christmas, so yeah, it's a Christmas movie.
And now this is the Green Knight. If people have seen Monty Python and the Holy Grail, this is the Green Knight that gets murdered by the Black Knight in that scene, when they were referencing this fellow. He's not necessarily the most established character in Arthurian legends and stuff, but in this they give us a look at King Arthur in a way that I don't think any other film really has. He doesn't really feel like he's got that weight of him. He's actually pretty frail in a lot of instances. Him and his wife are a lot older now. They don't even seem warm in a lot of cases. The round table is cold. Everything about like the design of his palace is just like Game of Thrones, but if they didn't have the candles, basically. But when the Green Knight shows up, which that actor, he's been in quite a few things, and they just doused him with tons of makeup and stuff and dubbed his voice a little bit. I really liked his character too, and Dev Patel does really an incredible job.
He's great. I've loved him ever since Slumdog Millionaire. I've loved Lion so much. It's one of my favorites. But this movie was not my favorite. I've seen it twice. I really tried to like it.
That's fair.
So this movie, it's beautiful. It's just like on a totally different discussion level than the other movies that we're talking about. But as far as enjoyment level, it wasn't my favorite.
I think that this movie definitely has an acquired taste to its tone. And I'm going to say this, and I'm calling out the A24 people. Like, if you like the A24 style of a King Arthur tale, then this is going to be for you. But if you're looking for like the more majestical, like sorcery, whisk you away, adventure kind of stuff, this is a lot more slowed down. The characters are not so noble. In fact, I don't think there's really anybody here that like you can actively root for and say is a good person.
Well, and maybe I found it frustrating because it was very unclear, I think intentionally so, of what was real, what was fantasy, what was a dream. And because it's in this fantasy world, I couldn't really keep track of everything. I'm like, why are there two Alicia Vikanders? I don't know. I don't understand. And so that hampered my enjoyment as well.
That's so true. Like when you're delving into something that has an unreliable narrator.
Yeah.
You have to at least establish rules. And I don't think this movie does very well of establishing when you're in those different scenarios.
But I do really admire David Lowery as a director. And I think it's really impressive the way that he's able to move from the world of indie art house films to mainstream films so seamlessly and keep his artistic style and vision intact. And
that's true.
I mean, what he was able to do with Pete's Dragon, I just absolutely love that film. And, he's going to be doing the new Peter Pan. I'm really looking forward to that. And there's not that many directors that can just go from working on their own, unique indie films to working for Disney to back and do so and still feel like this is the same director.
Yeah, it's weird to think that Pete's Dragon and the Green Knight are the same director. That's for sure.
But they feel the same to me. I mean, they're obviously different in their audiences, but the style, I think you can tell this is David Lowery.
Yeah.
I think so. So, yeah, I think that it's definitely worth checking out just to be a part of the conversation, but it wasn't my favorite. And then we also had in the world of indies, we have Spencer, which is going to probably get a lot of play in the Oscar race, especially Kristen Stewart's performance. And this is about Princess Diana on the Christmas holiday that she decides in 1991, she decides to leave Prince Charles. And it's very fictionalized. It's very loose based on reality. And I'm not the biggest fan of this director, Pablo Larraín, because I feel like his kind of stylistic gimmicks distract from the story. So I'm focusing on, this weird music or the way the camera is moving and swirling and stuff. And I'm not able to focus as much on the story. And I did like this better than Jackie, which I did not care for, but I still just not my favorite, but I understand why other people really enjoy it if you like this director.
Oh my God. Larry told me that you didn't like Jackie when we were doing our Spencer review. That's so funny.
I still think that Camelot scene is so cringy.
I mean, come on, it came back around full circle. Please, I need to know more about your hot takes with Jackie, but with Spencer, I got to say, I think Kristen Stewart definitely is going to be in the running. Like, that's for sure. If there's anyone getting out of this with something, it's definitely her for a nomination. I don't necessarily know about a win. I agree with you that the music style was distracting. I could get with the camera work because every once in a while I could be like, oh, I like how when it switches to her perspective, camera's all loosey-goosey, moving all over, whipping around places. But when it goes to the royal family, it's very like steady. It's very proper. It's very intentional. But if you listen to that music for a while, your dog's gonna start barking. Like it gets intense and not in a way that's fun.
I didn't feel like I really got to know her any better.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like I learned anything new about Princess Diana that I hadn't already learned. And granted, I did watch the Princess Diana musical.
Oh, okay.
On Netflix,
Okay.
which is
Was
a
that
total
good? Is
train
it
wreck.
good or bad?
It's ironically good. It's
Oh.
terrible, but it's really funny.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Dear Evan Hansen or the Princess Diana musical?
Oh, I mean, Dear Evan Hansen, way better.
Okay, well, that scares me.
It is one of I mean, it takes a lot for me to not like a musical. I mean, I am very kind to musicals, but it was so bad. Every aspect of Diana the musical is terrible. The lyrics are terrible. The music is terrible. The book is terrible. Really, the only good thing about it is the costumes are pretty good.
Okay.
And the costumes are great in Spencer as well. And I don't know. I just felt like all this, like trying to make it a horror movie and all this stuff, it just didn't work for me. I didn't feel like I got to know her any better. I just felt like it was the director showing his bag of tricks instead of actually telling a good story.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I'll have to listen to that episode
Kristen
now.
Stewart do the acting and without delving into too much of the other
With
stuff. We love you. I'm
gonna have to listen to that episode with you and Larry.
Oh, crap. I'm gonna text him.
He's trash talking me.
I told audience I'm sorry. No. I don't think this is the best movie, but I do think this is one of the best performances.
Yeah, I can agree with that. The thing, I mean, I just feel like it's so on the nose to have Jackie Onassis in a long sequence where the music from Camelot is playing and she's like going through her closet and like feeling all her clothes. And I mean, come on, that's just cringy to me. But yeah. Did you like Jackie better than Spencer?
I didn't watch it. Larry didn't like that either. Yeah. Look, there's I've got some blind spots.
Sorry, spoiler alert.
I got blind spots and I got to work on it.
I'm going to listen to that episode now.
Nice.
And the last one that we're going to talk about is See You Next Christmas. And this, we had the creator, director, writer, Christine Weatherup on this week, and I got a chance to talk with her, and she's super fun. And this was a real labor of love. They literally shot it in her apartment and with her friends. And it's a very small budget, but I really enjoyed it. I thought the script was solid, was funny. I thought that the two leads, Elizabeth Guest and AJ Meyer, I thought they had nice chemistry together. And I thought that she playing it's about this couple that hosts this annual holiday party, the Happy Clarkmas. And these two, her cousin and his friend, meet every year. And so you see every year their interactions, and they have this retraction to each other and you get to see it's kind of like When Harry Met Sally in that way. You see the years play out. And I enjoyed it. I thought it was funny. I don't know, just little things, the way I could relate to, like I liked the friend who was super intense about her cookies. And she's like, are you worthy? Are you worthy of the cookies? That was funny. So I don't know. Did you get a chance to watch this one?
No, honestly, if I'm being honest, those are about all I could get through with this week.
Oh yeah, it's busy.
We got kind of a tidal wave, or like the interstellar wave. Like I put the thing up. Yeah, we're gonna get dunked with stuff, but I can't complain because on top of that, you're also doing all of these too. So you've got, for whatever I have a workload with, you've got way worse.
Well, in fairness, I did watch this because I got a screener for it. So I watched it like a month and a half ago.
Oh, gotcha.
So I'm a little cheating.
I wish I could have caught Clifford before. There's a lot of snow in that. At least in the poster, I saw snow.
Was there snow? I can't remember.
there's a poster that made
it is red,
look like
so it is on theme. red dog
There it is.
is Christmas.
Make him into a stocking. Oh no. Oh no. That's the Corella turn.
But I liked See You Next Christmas. I thought it was fun. It's low budget, lower than Hallmark, so you just kind of have to know what you're about to watch. But it had I thought a funny script, and I really liked the ending. I thought that was good. And really, with a romantic comedy, the most important things is the script and the chemistry. And if you got both of those down, then it's probably going to work.
Yeah.
No matter the budget. And so I think this did. And I really enjoyed getting to talk to Christine. So if you haven't had a chance to listen to that interview, you should. She's super fun. And it's available VOD right now. And it's not, I think it was $10. So if you want to support a small local, or if you want to support a small independent film, I think this would be a fun one to do. So that's all that we had to talk about this week. This week for Off Network, we have Kristen Maldonado coming on. She's super fun, super great YouTuber. So that will be great. I'm looking forward to that. And thank you so much, Patrick, for coming on. This was great.
Oh, it's a pleasure. And I love being able to talk to you about these. And I like learning more about this new, because it's new to me. Like this is a whole new kind of subgenre. So any chance you can have to bring me in and introduce me to some more stuff, please let me know. And thank you, everybody. It was really cool.
And make sure to send in those ideas for Patrick. #Patrick Christmas. I think that's what we said, right?
I think Patrick the Elf might work better.
Patrick the Elf.
I think that'll
We'll
jog
keep track
your
of
memory.
both. Let us know. And how can people follow you and your content?
Follow me on Instagram, Patrick Beatty Reviews, just like Warren Beatty. Just type that last name, it works. Pat B Reviews on Twitter, and of course, Patrick Beatty Reviews on the website.
Yeah, very good. And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all over social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. So please take a look at that. I'm doing weekly recaps on my channel of all of the Christmas coverage. So please take a look over there. I would really appreciate it. And then make sure you're following the podcast on Hallmarkies Pod and Hallmarkies Podcast, all over social media. And if you're listening on iTunes, please leave your ratings and reviews. That helps us so much. And if you are watching on YouTube, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate that so much. We also have our Patreon group, which we get to do those watch-alongs we talked about, with where Lacey Chabert came on. That was amazing. This month for our watch-along, we have writer Anna White on. We are going to watch Check Into Christmas, which is a really fun movie, and she's going to tell us all the details about how she came up with it. That's going to be on the 20th of November. So please take a look at that. We would really appreciate it. And then also we have the merch store, which has tons of new festive designs, holiday designs. Please take a look. That would be great. And thanks so much, Patrick. And Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.